And welcome to episode 3 of the Box Nostalgia Podcast with Beerski and PoNGa. What's going on, man?
Yeah, it's been a good couple weeks. Been pretty busy on the personal side of things, taking care of some stuff, but really excited to hop back on here and talk about some Pokemon, some video games with you. I want to start off by saying I think our channel is about to hit 100 subscribers, so really
Yes, it
appreciate all
is.
the support there. We've just got tons of great feedback, so even some constructive feedback as well. So really appreciate everyone's sharing their thoughts in the comments, liking, subscribing. So I'm doing really good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Work's work. I'm crushing that. Worked the Saturday, made some double time, or not double time, time and a half. So that was good. Um, like PoNGa said, thank you everyone. I think we're at 98 subscribers right now. So we're pushing towards 100. Very excited about that. Um, Definitely a big milestone for any channel to hit the first 100. So looking forward to hit and eclipse that number in the next couple days, hopefully. But yeah, other than that, life's good, man. Just kind of chugging
You
along.
got to be doing good. You're wearing a robe,
I'm
so you
telling
got
you,
to.
listen, I got home today and I was like, I'm wearing a robe for the live tonight or for the recording tonight. So I got it on. I'm comfy. I got pajamas on, so I'm here for a good time tonight. Um, so yeah, with that being said, I think we're gonna hop into the first segment, and that is item of the week. So what do you have for us, PoNGa?
Yeah, so I think my trend lately has been a lot of sealed products. So I'm going to continue on that trend. And this item is, I don't know, I just feel like, and this is also on trend with my last couple, people just don't talk about this set at all, actually. I guess that it's probably one of like the lower printed specialty sets we have in English, but um, it's Double Crisis. So I actually have a set of the two blisters. So the difference between them, you have like the Team Aqua, Team Magma pin and coin, and then the other blister would have the opposite. Um, I just really like the pack art. The pack art's unbelievable. It just really pops. I think it's really cool that the blister itself has like 4 packs in it, which is pretty odd for a sealed blister. And then the set itself, these packs only have 7 cards per pack. Um, this front of this, I didn't verify this, but it says it has 28 cards, which is a very, very small set. And then the 2 iconic cards in the set are really that full art Kyogre and the full art Groudon. So I know those cards are really big chase cards for a lot of people. I think they're pretty bad condition typically. And they're just super cool with like the trainer on the card and stuff. But yeah, just another item that I think is very cool that I think is not very talked about. These blisters are pretty expensive now. I think they're a couple $100.
It's a
Um,
pretty blister, man. Like the packaging looks nice on everything. Looks sharp with that one.
yeah, I mean, it was like, people back during the pandemic were like looking at cool stuff to buy. Watsy was spiking, and like these blisters, like you could pick up a set of them for like $100, which was pretty insane. So I got pretty lucky with my timing on picking them up. But yeah, just a super cool item I have.
Right on, man. That's awesome. So you said the print quality for those were bad. Is it? They're not promos. They're out of pack.
Yeah,
Just bad.
yeah, yeah. I'm from my understanding, I'd imagine like a lot of the bad condition is just because people didn't take care of them.
Oh, okay,
It
gotcha.
wasn't like the most beloved set, right? It's a super small set. Um, I won't say short printed, but to my knowledge, pretty short printed compared to like other things that we see today. But yeah, I think those cards are pretty difficult tens if I remember correctly, but I might be wrong about that.
Right on, right on. For my item of the week, I have the Japanese stamp box. Um, just recently picked up a few of these. Never really had dabbled in the stamp box. There he goes. He's got it too. Never dabbled in the stamp boxes. I really love the artwork of the Pikachu and the Cramorant. Big fan of them. Their PSA, I think it's like a 90% PSA 10 rate on those cards that are sent in. They're just beautiful cards. It comes with the stamp set as well. You get the big three, Charizard, Venusaur, and Blastoise stamps actually come with like a little hollow pattern on them, which is pretty cool. definitely dig that. I know that there was a sequential 10 set graded of those. Actually, we all know him. I think it was Tennis Wolf, correct?
No, it was Gengar's Den.
Oh, Gengar's Den. Sorry. So it was Gengar's Den.
Right?
He had, I think so.
Yeah.
So
I'm pretty
he
sure.
had, pretty sure. It sold for $7,000. Crazy amount of money. PSA doesn't even grade them anymore. It's insane that's not, you get that kind of pricing from something like that. But just, I guess, the rarity of that and the fact that that's not around anymore. You can't even grade them with PSA. They come
Yeah,
with
the crazier part of that sale was that we were both in Charlotte,
Yeah.
and he was in my section, like almost right next to me, and he had them for like a fraction of that price. So like we all had the opportunity to buy those. He got, super lucky with the auction and got some eyes on that, and it worked out really well for him.
Yeah,
He's
dude.
a super cool guy. I got the pleasure of talking to him a lot at the bar, but yeah, I mean, it's a pretty wild to buy a couple $100 box and sell it for $7,000.
$7,000 and they like hand cut stamps too, which is amazing. Like, it's just that you hand cut them out and send them to PSA and they graded them. They're minty. Everything comes minty out of the box. Come with 3 postcards: Charizard, Eevee, Pikachu. They also have like a deck. They have a Pikachu V deck and a Cinderace V deck. Some of the cards that come out of them, they also have the cool little stamps on them. You get like a Morpeko. I don't know if you can see the little Pikachu. See, yellow on yellow is bad, but they have like little Pikachu stamps on the bottom right of the card. There's a Snorlax, pretty cool. And then the other ones have the Cinderace on it. But there's a couple cool cards from that set. I really like them. So yeah, just want to talk about the stamp box for a little bit. Next segment.
Yeah, I love
on.
that set. No, yeah, I just wanted to add, like, I love the stamp box promos. I've graded several sets. Unfortunately, I've sold all of them, but I recently bought back the Cramorant PSA 10 because it was a fraction of the price I sold it for, so I thought it was a good deal. I love that Cramorant card. Like, I don't know, something about it. Like, obviously, Cramorant's not the most loved Pokemon, but it's just like
the styling of that card. Both of them are so like I love that, like the Oriental feel, like how they are. Like, it's just a very cool style of card. Yeah, I just sold one raw for, oh man, that's $62 on eBay. So that's pretty awesome. They're a little off-centered. But yeah, I mean, they're holding their value pretty well. So if anyone, is interested in taking a look at those, definitely do. It's a cool set. Yeah, moving on. Next segment we got going on is tier list. Tier list with Mario games this week. Very excited to do this one. It was just the Mario anniversary. I think last week or the week before. So we missed the mark on that, but we're making up for it now with our Mario tier list. So here we go.
I will say, I think Chef sent us a message like the day we recorded or the day after we recorded the last episode. I was like, hey, you guys should do Mario games. Like, it's Mario Day. And I was like, oh man, we're a little late on that. But it was just
the day after for sure.
Yeah.
Which was a bummer because we should have definitely seen that coming, being a video game and Pokemon podcast. But like I said, missed the mark, but we're making up for it now. So I'm gonna let PoNGa get started again. We're S tier through Y. I don't know. There's not many Y Mario games out there, but
no, that's the problem with this kind of tier list.
They're pretty good. So we're gonna go ahead and get it started. We'll PoNGa pick out the first one.
Yeah, and what I will say about this tier list is there is so many Mario games. So a lot of like the similar type games are going to group all into one bucket. For example, like Super Mario 3. There's 1, 2, Super Mario World that are all kind of that 2D platformer type game. So we're just going to represent that by using one game, or like something like Mario Kart will just be Mario Kart in general. Just wanted to put that out there. And there are like other titles that we're not necessarily including, but we try to pick the ones that we liked personally or were nostalgic to us. And then obviously like the big ones. So I think the first one I'm going to pick is Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. So there's several of these games. It's kind of like, you pick the character and you do like the Olympic events for that
Yeah.
specific Olympics. Um, I specifically remember playing the Beijing 2008 one, but it's one of those games that's super fun for a short amount of time, and then you kind of get sick of it because it's very repetitive. Um, I will say it's also on the Wii. So like back in 2000 for the 2008 Olympics, like the Wii was like the coolest thing in the world to a kid.
Yep.
So I really remember, having a lot of fun with this game. Now, with this tier list, it makes it really difficult to list this high compared to some of the other games on the list. So I think I'm going to list this at a B.
A B?
Yeah.
Oh man, we're gonna be on way different ends of the spectrum here. This game is not that great. This is shovelware Sega game for the Wii. I
No,
was not.
there's some of them. There's some of them that are shovelware, like the
I
later Olympic games. The early ones, I think, are so good.
I don't know, man. So like again, I gotta throw the old. I worked at GameStop for a while, but dude, this game came back so much. We had so many pre-owned copies of this game, and it was pushed so hard before the Olympics, and then it
Yeah,
just sat and sat, and there was so much inventory left. Um, I don't know. I definitely it was cool. So this is like when Nintendo they started going into like they did Mario with the rabbits. They did Mario and Sonic. They started allowing like other things in. They started getting really good with that. Super Smash Brothers started allowing other characters in as well. Like it really became cool. Um, so for that, like it's awesome. Sega doesn't have a system. They were like, getting in with Nintendo essentially doing this, which is awesome. I would not list this to B. This is definitely like dude, I always thought this was a Y game. And I know
oh
we said like there
man,
aren't many Ys, but this is a Y game for me. Like Mario and Sonic at the Olympics. Like first of all, Sonic wins every time because he's the fastest like creature alive. All right, like you just can't be beat. So we're gonna put that right. A C minus is still too high. Like I
that's
just
just so wrong. Like I always think back, like when you're a kid, the games with, like, I'll say the smaller mini games are always like a super good time, especially if you're playing with friends. And so, like I said, I don't think I could really rate any Mario game super low, like Y tier, just because like no matter what game it is, I find it pretty fun, and I really like the characters that are in the game, so that kind of elevates it for me. But I understand why someone might not like it as much.
Oh, yeah. So I don't know. This is not doing it for me. So we'll go to another party game. We're just gonna hit right in. We're gonna go Mario Party.
Okay.
Much better than Mario Sonic at the Olympics. Iconic, awesome game. Essentially zero skill involved to play it. It's great to sit around. You're winning at the beginning of the game. By the end of the game, you're going to lose because special stars are given out to the
Yeah.
losers who played, and you lose, which makes no sense, but whatever. It's still fun. You still get jacked up when your character passes someone or something cool happens like that. So, I like Mario Party. My family played quite a bit of the Mario. What's the newest Mario Party for the Switch? Was
Is
it?
that the Superstars or something like
hmm,
that?
I don't know if it's Superstars. Great game
I
though.
don't know.
I love it. I love being able to walk around and play a shy guy. It's my favorite Mario character. He's cool. I give Mario Party a solid B just because the mini games are very fun. Um, it does get you up and moving, make it a little competitive in the house. So I'll give Mario Party a B.
Yeah, now that I think about it, like Mario Party is definitely better than Sonic and Mario, and so I can't necessarily put it on the same level. So maybe if I were to redo this, I maybe put the other one at C. But I kind of agree, like the B level. I mean, it's super fun to play with other people. The
Yeah.
only problem with it is I feel like you always have to play it with other people, and that's not always doable, especially at our age now. And so
Yeah.
I also feel like, there's some Mario Party games that are like really fun, and there's some that are like, why does this game have 3 courses? Why does it get stale so fast? Why I know like some of the newer ones have like super limited mini games, which is very weird and strange. Like why not just reuse old ones and then add some new ones and just have
Yeah,
a huge library of them? So I think I'd agree with you that it's probably around the B tier.
I like the B tier game. Solid game to go to.
Yeah, I think I'm
That's
gonna
what,
move this one down to D because I think it's a C because I just can't put it on the same tier as Mario Party. I agree with that. It's
yeah,
like
and
a
that's
similar type vibe with like the mini games, but yeah, it's just
and
not
so,
on the same level.
and some of the mini games like the Mario Party that we play here. I wish I went upstairs and checked out like the case, but we sometimes just go in there and just play the mini games. Like you can just
Yeah.
skip everything else and just play the mini games you like. And like some of those little mini games get that heartbeat and like pretty quick. Like some of the stuff is the one where the caterpillar's sleeping and you're like
Oh
trying
yeah.
not to wake it up, dude. Like stress inducing. Talk about it in therapy later on in life, kind of stuff.
Yeah, I just looked it up. There's two on the Switch, right? There's Mario Party Superstars, so I was right about that one. I think that's I don't remember if that's one I have or I have the other one, but then there's also Super Mario Party.
It's probably Superstars.
I
It's
think
got to be
Superstars is
Superstars.
the one that's not as liked as the other.
Now I gotta look and see the case. Oh, sorry, we had Super Mario Party.
Okay, yeah, I think that's the one I have as well.
Much better game. Crazy that they're still selling for $40 new.
Yeah.
Those
Well, it's a Mario
Mario,
game, man.
yeah, the Nintendo IP games just hold their value so well.
Yeah. Okay. Um Man, I'm gonna go with probably the newest I'd say like platformer Mario game. So that's Mario Wonder. I honestly like started playing it and I got through like 10 levels and just stopped playing. Not that it wasn't fun, it just like I don't know, maybe I don't find like platformers like that as fun as I used to, but like I think like the reviews of it are pretty high and a lot of people like it. And like I said, the 10 levels I did play were still fun. I just didn't continue. I will probably continue eventually. Um, but I'd probably put this one around I don't know, somewhere between B and C for me.
Okay.
Is it possible
Um,
I could put it between B and C?
yeah, you could put it between B and C. We could figure that out. Uh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I haven't played Wonder.
Yeah.
I know it's a platformer. I know it's probably very similar to Super Mario Brothers for the Wii. Added a bunch of new stuff to it. Um, they did come with the when you pre-ordered it, you would get a pack of cards. The hit out of those pack of cards was I'm pretty sure they were serialized Mario Elephant cards. Pretty cool little gimmick for them. It's not the first time they've put out trading cards as an IP, but why not try and capitalize on the market that's going on now? They were going for quite a bit on eBay for a while. I really haven't looked at prices since, but because I do love Mario, I would have loved to get my hands on some of them. I just wasn't going to pay what they were going for. Um, yeah. So, with all that being said, like the fact that it's another new game, they really did do a pretty good advertising campaign for it. I'll probably put that around the C tier as well. Like you said, it's a platformer. It's 2024 now. Like it's cool that they exist. Um, and it is a Mario game, so they can kind of get away with it. But platformers are just so, you know, antiquated now, especially from like it's really not bringing much new things to the table. Like, um, that it's just that's how I feel about. Like, there's some platformers that have come out in the recent years that have been like game changing for platformers. This is just not one of them.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that the trading cards are very cool. I pre-ordered it and then had the pack and I actually ended up selling the pack to pay for a lot of the game. So I got the game pretty cheap, but yeah, I mean it's just like to your point, it's just like a platformer that I've played 1,000 times with some different features where I could turn into an elephant.
Yeah,
Um,
it's just the new gimmick for the Mario game. A few years
yeah, it's
ago, it
like
was Penguin Suit. Like they just keep, and it's cool. Like I love Penguin Suit Mario, super awesome, big fan of it. But they do it every like new game series. They add a different hat that you can put on, or a new power up, or it turns into something new, some new mechanic for the game. So yeah. All right. I'm gonna go with a tried and true oldie and stare me right in the face. Dr. Mario. PoNGa knew. He hovered right over it.
Yeah.
So, dude, this game, let me tell you, it's Tetris. It's essentially Tetris. It is what it is. It is so cool. I love this game. Don't know why. Would sit for, I don't know, probably not hours, but quite a bit of time playing Dr. Mario on my NES. As a kid, like, to talk about like nostalgic feels, like when we were talking about this list, I didn't even think of Dr. Mario until it was popped up and it was staring me in the face. Definitely bringing back like the Tetris pieces that came down were little pills, and like you had to like switch the pills to match the colors. It was just like a very cool game. I liked it. You know, being a kid, like beating those levels made you feel smart. So I really dig on Dr. Mario. I can't though give it like an S, A, or B tier because it is just like a knockoff game. So based on all that, like I'll give it a C just for nostalgic reasons. Like it was a good, time playing the game when I was a kid. Like I definitely did enjoy it.
Oh boy. Yeah. I don't really ever remember playing it. I mean, I think I did. I will say I'm not like I think Tetris is like okay. Like it's just okay. Like it's fun, but not something that I'll pick first to play.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'd probably, man, I can't put it on the same level as Wonder. I think I have to go D tier. So you said C?
Yeah, so we'll stick it right in the middle. That's all right. Listen, that's a fair assessment of the game. It's also
It's just like
old. It's
okay,
thin.
right?
Yeah, it's
just
okay.
okay.
It's like if you want something mindless to do for 20 minutes, throw Dr. Mario on.
Yeah,
Fun
like if
game.
it were like, yeah, like an app on my phone, if it was Dr. Mario, like maybe I'd play it here and there type thing.
Yeah.
But like I don't think I'd go
Go
on
out of your
my
way.
N64 or something and play a Dr. Mario game.
Yeah.
But that's just me. Oh man, do we want to start with the iconic ones or still go with some of the smaller ones? I think I'm gonna have to go Mario Kart. So the picture
Wow.
here, the picture here is Double Dash, which in my opinion is I'll say it's the most fun I've had playing Mario Kart. I think, Double Dash, having the two characters being able to switch, each character having their
cool.
the swapping, each character having its own like items that are very common drops for it. The red shells are kind of annoying when someone picks that character. I always play as Baby Luigi because Luigi's the best Mario character, and Baby Luigi's hilarious. But yeah, Mario Kart in general, I'd say Double Dash and then the one on DS are my two favorite. I think I put countless hours to that one on DS, mastering every single course. Even like the Mario Karts today. Now, I know some people are a little sour on Mario Kart because Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was just like,
It's a trash game.
well, I don't think it's a trash game. I think it's the same game as the previous one, just with like the bonus tracks or bonus content, I should say. But I mean, it's still Mario Kart, right? And
Yeah.
then I will say there is a app, Mario Kart Tour, that I've been playing like every single day of my life for like the past couple weeks or months. And it is kind of like a pay to win game. I don't ever pay for apps like that. So it's more of a grind on my side of things where there's countdowns to unlock new courses to do that reset every couple weeks and all that kind of stuff. Or you could buy like new items every week for your in-game currency. But yeah, I think Mario Kart in general is just like, it's like the go-to game, like when we were younger with friends, or like college dorm room Mario Kart, screaming at each other, getting a red shell right at the finish line, or getting hit with like a blue shell when you're in first place is always the most frustrating thing, or flying off Rainbow Road right down the final stretch. So yeah, it's tough for me because like I want to put it in S, but like it's one of those things where like I just have way more fun when I'm with people, and so like I don't play it as much by myself as some of the other games I'll get to on this list. So I think Mario Kart in general, I'm just gonna put it A. I think it's better than Mario Party when it comes to like games to play with friends. And I think it might be the top Mario game when it comes to that. So it's like solid A, like on the verge of going to S tier for me, but A.
Okay. So I will stand by my statement that Mario Kart 8 is trash. I don't it keeps you from falling off the map. It's just, there's like zero skill and fall. I don't like it. Like I tried liking it, tried playing with my daughter with it. I just don't. It is not. Mario Kart is brutal. That Mario Kart is a fight to the death when you're a kid with your friends. You hate each other when you're done playing Mario Kart. Like it's a mean game. Like Mario Kart 64, best Mario Kart. Loved it. Like there's so like it's such a mean game. Double Dash is cool, don't get me wrong, but Mario Kart for 64 was where it's at. It's hard to I also agree with you. Like you can't really play it by yourself. It's much more fun when you're playing it with your friends. I mean, you can, but you just smoke the competition. Like even at 150 cc, nothing crazy. I'll give it a solid A as well. It flirts with the S tier, just because I think Mario Kart is like the biggest spin-off franchise for Mario. I just it's not quite S tier. There's a couple S tiers on here that we're going to get into that I think are better than Mario Kart. But as in terms of like the sports games and everything that we're going to go through here, I think Mario Kart is the tops.
Yeah, for sure. And the one thing I didn't remember was like Super Mario Kart and stuff. Those old games, it made it impossible to pull away from the computer. Like it purposely like rubber band you to them, so they would catch up to you and drive faster than you if you were way ahead of them. Yeah. I don't think a lot of people remember that, but like I don't think Double Dash really does that as much or as hard. So that's why like that's kind of like the first one that's super iconic to me. We agree with just a super solid A.
Right on.
All right.
I get to pick. Let's see. All right, let's go Super Mario 3.
Once again, this is like we could classify like all the older 2D platformer Mario games, so like 1, 2, 3, Super Mario World, those type games into this. So I just picked Super Mario 3 as a representation of that.
Yeah, I mean it's the best one.
It's the most iconic one, I think, for me.
Countless hours on this game as well. I really can't say enough about how much I played this game. I still get skeeved out by that big ass fish in the third world that jumps up and tries eating you all the time. It still freaks me out. I think the frog suit is the best suit of all time. If you don't think so, you're wrong. So I really dig on Super Mario 3. I love all the secret hidden stuff in it. Like for an older game, like a platformer like that, it's super impressive what they actually plugged into the game. They took their time. Especially after the disaster that was Super Mario 2 in the US. Definitely a departure from the series. It's definitely a standalone game there. So Super Mario 3 definitely hit on all the right cylinders. So I'm going to give Super Mario 3 in terms of, I don't know, we're trying to be fair. So it is probably I would say, oh man, a B. Super Mario 3 is a B for me. I don't think I could rate it any lower or higher. I think that's where it deserves to be, just from where it brought Mario, because that was the first one with hats, and that they sit still mechanics that they use in their platforming games now.
Yeah, I mean that's very well said. I feel like these 2D platformers kind of gave Mario its Mario identity, as silly as that is to say.
Yeah,
it just kind of jump started the Mario. I think Super Mario 3 kind of jump started the whole Mario franchise when it comes to the gaming. It is in my opinion the most iconic NES game. And to your point, looking back at those older 2D platformers, it's not as fun thinking about it, but during the time it was out, it was a lot of fun and just from like the iconic standpoint, I think I'd have to agree with you. Probably around the B tier. I almost wanted to put it in A just because of what it is, but I think B tier is pretty fair.
I mean, yeah, there's so much good to say about it. Like getting on the ships and fighting on the Bowser ships, fighting all Bowser's kids. Like it's just like those are some of the coolest platformer like battles ever. They're shooting the little rings at you. Like I love those games. Like it was just a very fun game. All three of them, like I said, even and 2 was weird, but that like brought out like Birdie, weird characters like that into the series because that was a completely different game in Japan that they ported over here and turned into Mario. Like it's the first time you get to play with Peach, Luigi, Toad. Each had different like mechanics that work for him. I remember Luigi would just like run and run in the air, and it was so like funny to watch. And he would just so funny to watch. Peach would float. So like just a cool just the Mario series, dude. Like can't say enough about it. Especially those early platformers are just so good.
Yeah. All right. I think I'm gonna do a sports game, so I'm gonna go with Mario Superstar Baseball. So this is actually a game that I remember playing and having a lot of fun with. I'm a huge baseball fan, so it just, all those kind of Nintendo GameCube baseball games like Backyard Baseball, Mario Baseball, I loved. The one thing I didn't remember about this game was that like each character has its own like swing timing, and like that is just like such a cool detail when it comes to this kind of game. Like, you have all like the different abilities and all that, but then like to also like being able to master the timing person's swing as like another added element, I thought was a really cool touch for the game. I don't know, it might be crazy, but I think I'm gonna put it in B tier. It's just like I love baseball, and like to be able to play baseball with Mario characters is like the coolest thing to me. So I think it's one of my higher ranked Mario sports games.
Okay. Yeah. So Mario rarely or Nintendo rarely misses the mark when it comes to the Mario sports franchises. Um, they are again like the mini game masters, and the swing timing is just a mini game within the game. Like so, like they're
Yeah.
very good at making things that are inherently simple more involved. It's the same thing with the Mario Tennis franchise. Same kind of thing. Each character swung their racket different. Like so, stuff like that is very cool. And it adds a whole nother like wrinkle and layer to the game. I didn't play much Mario Baseball. I probably played maybe one game of it in my life, but it was never on the shelf. It was always sold out. It was for the GameCube, which did well with these kind of games. So I'll go with PoNGa and I'll give it a B just because PoNGa loves baseball. I love baseball. Baseball's good. Again, I haven't played it much, but if it holds a spot in PoNGa's heart, it'll hold a spot in mine. So
yeah, once again, like we said this at the beginning, like most of these games are so good, and like we're just ranking them in comparison to each other. Like if you were to put most of these games on like a larger list of games, I think a lot of these would be higher end type games. But
absolutely,
it's just we've gone through a few now, and I find it like pretty hard to rank some of them because they're just all so good.
Yeah, I mean they don't miss the mark. Like they know what they're doing in terms of just making solid games with their IP. Nintendo is better than anyone with it, especially
All
their
right, what's your
poster
next game?
child.
What's your next game?
Let's go Super Mario Brothers Wii. So I played this game a lot. I really liked this game. I know it's just another platformer. They show right there. They added the helicopter hat, which was a cool little wrinkle in the game. I had the standee from GameStop in my room, like throughout high school. Like it was just like in the corner of my room. I worked there. I brought it home. Like I just was a huge nerd having stuff like that. But I really enjoyed the game. Actually, fun fact too. You see where the question mark box is. So I have a Mario tattoo that's based off of that goes around my wrist. So with the little mushrooms coming out and everything. So that was like one of the influences for that. But I'd give it, again, it's another 3D platformer. It's a fun game. Yeah, I'm going to give it another C, just because of what it was. It didn't bring too much new to the table, but it was fun because it was one of the first platformers that they had put out since, the earlier games. Like, I think Super Mario, whatever Super Mario for the NES came out, or Super NES came out, and there really wasn't like a platformer after that. So this was like the next platformer that came out for the series. So new Super Mario Brothers for the Wii, I give it a C.
Yeah, I don't think I ever played this one, weirdly enough. I mean, I played the Wii a ton, and I've watched a lot of like Mario tier lists, Mario like ranking videos, like the best Mario games of all time. And like every time this game comes up, I just like don't have any memory of playing, so I just assume I didn't play it. I have watched gameplay of it and stuff like that with those rankings. It's a Mario game, and I get the general premise of it. So I'm just gonna agree with you and put it in C tier because like I said, didn't play it.
Right on. It's pretty looking game too for the Wii. Like, I think the Wii was a lot stronger of a system than people gave it. Gave it props for. The Nintendo games looked pretty on that, and that game definitely looked pretty on there too. Your turn, Mr. PoNGa.
I'm gonna go with one that I find super nostalgic. So I actually still have this game. When I was going through my old gaming stuff, I found this game, and it's just like, I love basketball too. Once again, playing like basketball 3-on-3 with Mario characters is so cool. Like,
Yeah,
it's the common repeated statement when we talk about all these Mario sports games. And just like it being on the DS, being able to play it on the go. Obviously it's not as good as like, the GameCube games, in my opinion, stuff like that, but it was a lot of fun. But it did have its limitations being on the DS. The controls were a little wonky at times. And like if it were like a normal console release, I think they could have done a lot more with it. But yeah, I think I'm gonna rate it a C. But it's a lot of fun. I really like this game.
yeah. So they definitely released it for the DS was the big thing at the time. Like, that was the
Yeah.
craze for Nintendo. They sold more units of DS than anything, so they were putting any Mario game on there that they could, and they sold. I didn't play much Mario Hoops. Probably at the store that I was working at played it. But again, like most of the Mario games, solid games. I'm gonna have to defer to PoNGa here because I was not like a big Mario Hoops player, but I will go ahead and give it a C as well. Like I said, it's just one of those things. Their sport franchises for Mario are on point. All right. Let's get into some meaty stuff here.
We need some high tier. We need some high tier ones.
Yeah, let's go Super Mario 64. Let's just pop that cherry right now. So we got Super Mario 64. Yeah, man, stud game. What can I say about it? Left the platforming era for Nintendo. Nintendo 64 came out. This game, I think everyone can remember the screen where you're pulling on his nose and his eyebrows and all that stuff. Like, everyone remembers that. It's the first time you hear Mario's voice. Lets it go. Like, you dive right into it. It's just so cool. The free floating camera is awesome. The first level, I think everyone who's ever played a Nintendo 64 will remember. Just everything about the game, and I played this game a lot. I've beaten a lot of games in my life, but this is one of the more fun ones to beat. You can lose your hat, Metal Mario. Like, there's so many cool. You're catching rabbits down in the water tunnels. Like, there's just so many cool little like things with this game, hidden stuff. You're jumping into the paintings. Like, everything was just done so well and so unexpectedly. Like, you weren't expecting any of that. It was a huge, massive game. I think it was 144 stars, if I'm not mistaken.
Something like that.
Something like that. Just a crazy amount of content for a game like this. I think the Rumble Pack worked for it, so it was just cool. Super Mario 64 is hard to beat. I'm gonna give it an A. It's not S tier for me, but it is definitely A tier.
Yeah, I think this game's like the Mario game. Like when it comes, like everyone knows Super Mario 64. All the points that you gave, um, I like it a lot. I don't think it's my favorite N64 game, but it it still has that like 3D platformer type feel to it a little bit, and then um, it's just a lot of fun. I recently been playing a lot of N64 again. Had to play this game, not all the way through it, but I will say like on the N64, some of the controls are a little wonky. The camera's not really where you want it at all times. It makes some of the jumps and like shooting out of the cannons and stuff like super clunky a little bit. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's just like, in my opinion, like the most iconic Mario game, especially for like people around our age. And so I think I'd agree with you and probably put it in an A tier.
Nice. Yeah, just shooting out of the cans is cool. The N64 controller definitely did not help the playability of that game, though. So there were some games that controller was awesome for, and there were some that it wasn't awesome for. I feel like this is one of the ones that wasn't awesome for, just because 3D running around 3D is a lot different than just side-scrolling platformer. So it was like a
Yeah.
whole new generation of gaming and gamers getting onto it and learning how to use those kind of controls. So um, yeah, like I said, N64 controller really doesn't do it for me. It's a fun controller, but it's not the best.
Yeah, and I will say, like, it's a lot of people's like that is the 3D platformer, right?
Yeah,
So it has to be ranked pretty high.
yeah, definitely. All right, what do you got for us, Ponga? We're starting to get down
Let's
one, two.
see.
We're
All
halfway
right,
through the list right now.
I'm gonna do I think one of my two S tiers. I'm going with Super Mario Sunshine.
Oh,
Um this is my favorite Mario game, hands down. I've played this game countless times. I don't know, something like with the water pack on your back and like being able to like rotate between the three types of it, and I don't know, something about it was just like addicting, and it still is. Like they remade it on Switch on in that bundle game, and it is just so much fun. I don't even know how to put into words. Like this is probably like top 5 games all time for me. Maybe
wow.
5, 10, maybe top 10. Um in my opinion, it's the best Mario game ever made. And yeah, that's where I'll leave it. I think it's definitely S tier for me.
All right, so I played this game very little. I did not like them.
Oh,
I know, I know. I didn't even want to tell you in our pre-call this because I didn't want to hurt you, but I hated that stupid water gun on the back.
you're
You
so
go from
dumb.
you go from Mario 64, which was like the most iconic Mario game, and then you go to this where he's got this stupid water gun on his back and he's cleaning up this island. I don't know. It not for me. Yeah, he's so upset right now. His earbuds are falling out. I don't know. I'm gonna. Ugh, you're gonna hate this. I'm going. I'm giving this a C, man. It was. It was not a great game. I don't know. I did not like it. I feel like it was like a he's gonna just stick it up there. It wanted to be Luigi's Mansion before Luigi's Mansion was even Luigi's Mansion. You know what I mean?
Listen,
Like,
I am the biggest Luigi's Mansion fan, and it is not better. Like it is definitely better than Luigi's Mansion.
I don't know. I'm sorry. It just gets a lowly B plus.
You you think it's on the same tier as like the Wii game or Mario Hoops or like okay.
I don't know what to say, man. Like I just didn't like it. Like I don't even think I got past like the first 3 levels. Like I was like, this game is trash. I didn't like it.
You're
It wasn't
I
for
like
me.
I
I'm
don't know,
just
maybe I don't think I'm alone in saying like this game is awesome. Like I feel like people will agree, but we'll see, I guess.
maybe I have to go back and play it. I have that Mario game you're talking about, like with all the games on it for the Switch that has this on it, and I just never played it. So for you, I'll play it, and maybe we can revisit this subject one day. But yeah, sorry
I
to
will
hear.
say, like, some of my feel is like probably the nostalgic factor. I mean, it's like, one of the games on GameCube, and so that's probably why I feel like I love the GameCube. So it's probably why I feel so strongly about it.
Yeah.
I'm sure like you can make the argument for different Mario games being the best game, but yeah, it just the game for me. I'm not saying it's necessarily the best like for everyone, but it's just the game for me.
Yeah.
I'm really upset.
We can stick it in the B tier.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not changing it. I'm not changing
Oh,
it.
we're not changing it now. Okay, that's fine. All right, so then we're gonna go to my S tier now, and we'll see now if there's revenge for this. But that's gonna be Super Mario Galaxy
Why?
because it is the best Mario game that's ever been released. Way
Okay.
better than that Sunshine game you were just talking about. I don't know. Introduces Rosalina, the Lunas. The mechanics of this game were so cool, running around the orbs, the way everything was presented, jumping from planet to planet. This is another one that I beat 100%ed. I remember this came out. Oh man, I was out of high school by the time this came out. So it was like, I don't know, it was probably like 18, 19 years old. Just this is the Mario game for me. I think it was done extremely well. I love the color tones of it. Like everything about the game was just S tier for me. So it gets an S. That is the iconic game for me. It takes everything that Mario 64 did and made it so much better. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to stick it in the Y tier.
Okay. If you're really feeling like that, PoNGa, we can do that. That's okay.
So this is one of those games where I had a really good time playing it, and I think I might have only played it once, and I've always told myself, well, you got to go back and play it again, just to like get more familiar with it again, because like I said, it came out so long ago at this point, and I haven't replayed it. I remember really liking it. I don't think I liked the planet type thing as much. I mean, I love space, but something about like running around on the planets wasn't my necessarily favorite, but I think it's a solid A for me.
Oh, wow. So we're between S. This is the highest ranked game so far.
Done.
I know that hurts you a little bit. Yeah, I really enjoyed this game. I want to go back and play it. It's part of that release as well.
Yeah, I've been meaning to since I got that, and I got to do it. I just got to do it.
I want to get through. I would like to just sit down. Like, I don't know. Multiplayer games have kind of been losing their luster for me. I don't know. I'm starting to feel like more of a single player guy. I just don't have the time to get good at the multiplayer games anymore. So, nothing's worse than getting on and just getting shit on by a 12-year-old across the country. And then in person,
You got to get good.
Horrible stuff. Get good. Get good, son. Get good.
You got to get good.
That's it. All right, your go, PoNGa.
I'm gonna go with Super Mario 64 DS.
Nice.
I think this is the better Super Mario game. I think it's better than Super Mario 64. I think the added ability to play with those all four characters that you see on the cover makes the game so much fun and able to be replayed because you could kind of play it with different characters. Obviously it's on the DS, so the controls are a little wonky and the camera has a lot of issues with it, but I remember playing this game like all day, every day when it came out. So I think I'm going to stick it in the A tier as well. I mean, it's probably the same tier as Super Mario 64, but I think it just added on to it extra content that makes it a lot of fun. And I love, like, once again, I love Luigi, so being able to just play the game with him
makes it that much better for you.
Fun.
Yeah, I had it for my DS. Nintendo's really good at making remakes of games too.
They remake games
to capitalize on the nostalgia factor for everyone that's come before. I think I've bought Ocarina of Time like 5 or 6 times now on different platforms, like for no reason. Don't even beat them again. Play it for a little bit, get to the owl, get pissed off. But like it's just like they get you good. It is Super Mario 64, like he said, extra characters. You get to bring it wherever you wanted. There's no losing there. So I'm gonna give it an A as well.
Solid.
So yeah, so like it's they made it better. All right.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, let's go Super Mario RPG. I know nothing about this game. I know absolutely squat about this.
We had to put it on there because like they just came out with like the remake. So
yeah, apparently it's an RPG. Never played it. Saw some stuff about it. Not very, ingrained. I know there's a lot. Isn't there a lot going on with Bowser in that game? I don't know like the storyline. I never really got into the Super Mario RPG. I think the original one came out before I was even really into role playing games. Or there were others. Yeah, it was definitely before I was into role playing games. I was still young, so I really didn't get into it that much. So I don't know. Like I don't even know where to list this game on this list. And this is like being completely honest with everyone. I don't know where to put it. So I'm going to defer to PoNGa to find a spot for it on this list, and then probably go 2 rankings under and say that's where it deserves to be.
yeah, I'm almost on the same boat. I felt like we had to put it on the list because it just came out again. I'm just like not I don't dislike RPGs. Like it has to be a very specific type of RPG for me to
Mario isn't it though.
Yeah, I just like something about it. Just like I remember playing it very shortly when I was younger, and maybe I'll go play it again because I have access to it. But yeah, I don't know. Like I feel like it might be D.
Yeah, I
Just
was gonna.
because like I don't really remember playing it all that much. I've seen some gameplay of like the remake, and just like it just doesn't do it for me. I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but
yeah, I'm gonna put it in the Y tier so you can stick it between D and Y, because honestly, like that's not what Mario's about. Like that's the one game. And like I said, I played tons of Mario games. I've played tons of video games in my life. Like, and I was actively in Mythic Rating and World of Warcraft. I played a whole bunch of that. Like I like RPGs. Like I'm a big fan of them. Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 10. Like we're talking about some like iconic RPGs. Mario makes no sense for one. So I'm definitely fine having it in the Y tier. For us both not to know anything about it, I think speaks volumes onto the game. I'm sure. and if anyone disagrees, please put it in the comments. I'd like to read why and give me a reason why I should check it out more than I may never talk about Super Mario RPG again after this conversation. That's how little it means to me. So yeah, there you go.
Okay.
And yeah,
no, you said it really. All right, I want to do Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. So, funny enough, this is another RPG, and I just remember having this on the Game Boy Advance and playing it a ton when I was younger. I realize I just said like RPGs aren't always the highest rated games for me, but I just remember loving being able to have Mario and Luigi. Once again, I love Luigi, so all the games he's in and is kind of featured, I absolutely love. From like fun standpoint though, like compared to the other games, like it's just not that highly ranked. I'd probably rank it a C. Just because like I'm so nostalgic for it. I love that game. Like when I was younger.
Yeah, so this is another one. Like it's funny, like so when you showed the list of games today and I first looked at it, I was like, oh my God, I haven't played like 5 to 6 of these games ever in my life.
Yeah.
But there's just so many Mario games. So they hit so many different genres that a lot of them don't overlap to where you would play them. I didn't play many, like when the Advance came out, I was playing like Pokemon still, and really like that was what I used those systems for, was Pokemon.
Yeah.
If I wanted to play Mario, I was hitting up my 64 or whatever we had. So I'll defer to you and give it the C. Just again because it's nostalgic for you and what you've played. I just, again, it's just one of those ones that I never really delved into.
I feel like it's one of those games that if I were to play it again today, I'd probably turn it on for 5 minutes and be like, "Yeah, I'm good."
Yeah, but you were a kid at
And
the
that's
time.
like,
It's all
but
nostalgia,
that's
baby.
like
Like,
that's like part of the reason why I probably will never play it again, because I don't want that memory to be soured.
and we all have
So
experienced, we've all experienced that in video games. Like everyone here who's watching this right now, I'm sure has played a game from their past that they thought was going to be awesome, and then have been completely crushed by how terrible the game is.
yeah,
It happens too often. Like I rarely will go back. Like I tried playing. I mean, we can talk about Pokemon Red and Blue. Like go back and try play. Like Pokemon Red and Blue is not the best game ever. Like it is kind of crappy. Like it's not very well done. Um, but it's nostalgic, and so just don't go back and play it. Just have the feels that you had as a kid, because it's very small. It's not impressive, but for what it was at the time, it was cool. So like a lot
hey,
of these
you could
Mario
play
games.
better versions of it, like emulate it on your computer or phone, and be able to like run super fast and speed up the dialogue and stuff, and it makes it way more enjoyable.
Oh, right on. See, I don't mess with ROMs or emulators all that much. I should probably get into that a little bit and get like a little Raspberry Pi or something for myself.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. All right, Super Mario Tennis or Mario Tennis.
Yeah.
All right, so played a ton of Mario Tennis. Not this specific one, but I think the one for the 64 or the GameCube,
Yeah.
or both. Um, Dude, games were awesome. Again, another sports game. You could spend hours playing it with your friends. Like it was just one of those ones where once you got into a rhythm playing it, you didn't want to put it down. They're very good at that. Um, Again, each character has their own little, intricacies about them. I'm gonna go ahead and give Mario Tennis a very solid B. I had a lot of fun with that. I think it was probably other than Mario Kart, in terms of sports games, the most I played out of any sports games. And I haven't played one round of tennis in my life ever. So
Yeah.
that shows how good it is and how addicting those games are.
Yeah. For whatever reason, when I was younger, I loved tennis games, like all of them. And like, I'm not like the biggest tennis fan. Like, I used to watch like, Federer and all that kind of stuff, just because I'm like a fan of, I'll say, greatness, or when people dominate a specific sport. I always like love seeing that. But I don't know, something about tennis games when I was younger, I used to just absolutely love, and felt like I could play them forever and not get bored. Mario Tennis is one of those ones where it just fits in that category, and then the added benefit of having all these characters that you absolutely love as
Yeah.
well. And I realize I just keep saying absolutely love about Mario games because they're all so good. Yeah, I think I'd agree with you. It's just a solid B. It's just
Yeah.
solid.
It's a solid game. They did well. I don't know. Tennis games are fun because it's constant. You're constantly thinking and doing something in it, like because everything's so fast.
Yeah.
So it makes it real fun. Like, and it's all reaction and just, I don't know. Great game series.
Okay. 4 more. All right. I'm gonna go with my other S tier and put
Little
Super Mario
Cappy.
Odyssey. Now I get it. Some of the games and the levels, like, they could be pretty repetitive, or you do like the task where you run and get something and come back. Like, I get it, but like, you could get so creative with your movement in this game, like with throwing Cappy and like bouncing off of them, and like do all these like cool tricks with it, where you could like get through levels quicker, or like get to high jumps and all that kind of stuff. And then I, I don't know, it is like, if there's two iconic Switch games, I think it's Breath of the Wild, and then I think it's Super Mario Odyssey. Like, if you were just to pick two, it's just so much fun. I just like, time was lost when I was playing this game, and I just felt like I couldn't get enough when I was playing it.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I have to put it in S tier.
All right. I think my daughter would agree with you. Um, she loves Super Mario Odyssey. Played a lot of it. I played some of it with her, but it was mostly me hanging out watching her play it. Um, it definitely had a much bigger feel to it. Um, I think the way it was presented, the way you go to the different, sections and like the ship you use, like everything is so cool about it. It's just like a very cool game.
You
I
could be
will
a dinosaur. You could be a T-Rex.
Yeah, right. Like, how do you lose that? Being able to throw the hat around because Mario's hat is so iconic too. Being able to throw the hat around is very cool. Like you said, the movement that allows you to use. I don't know if I'd give it an S. It's not Super Mario Galaxy for me. I'll give it a solid A, so we can split it. We can split it for you. It's something that I want to play a little bit more of. Like I said, I haven't delved in it super deep, more surface level stuff. But from what I've played and what I saw, again, it's a main Mario game that's not Super Mario Sunshine, so it deserves to be towards the top. Can't help myself, man. I'm sorry. We're gonna go with Mario Golf next. All right. Another sports game that was so fun. I think this game was more fun. Now that I think about it, I think maybe I enjoyed Mario Golf more than Mario Tennis, especially the 64 version. I really enjoyed it. It was fun playing as all the different characters. Everyone had their stats for their swings. It was all different. I really enjoyed it. Played quite a bit of it. I don't know. The 64 is so iconic, man. Like, there's just so much to do, so much to play for it. I felt like I played so many games on it. I'm going to give it an A. Mario Golf is going to get an A from me. I think it's the best sports game other than kart. You know what? Let's put it. I'm going to go between A and B. I'm not going to give it an A or a B. I'm going to go right in between with it.
Yeah, I remember playing it. No, I need to go back and play the one on 64 because I have the EverDrive 64, which allows me to play all the games. But yeah, I don't remember playing this one as much as the other Mario sports games. Once again, I used to really enjoy golf games when I was younger, and I never really golfed all that much besides like hitting balls at a driving range.
Yeah.
It's just one of those games that's fun, like you said, with the Mario characters, the different swings and attributes. But yeah, I think it's gonna be kind of on par with my other sports games. I'd probably just put it at that B tier.
Right on. Yeah, it's they don't mess sports games up.
I'm gonna do it like a little like that.
Okay. Oh, so
Because you put it in between, so it makes it a little difficult to put it on.
And still under Sunshine. So there you go.
Yeah. Well,
I'll have to give it a shot. I promise you, I will play Sunshine and see if it's worth what you're saying it is. Because if you liked it that much, it's like Splatoon.
Splatoon's awesome. That game is great. I think people disagree with you. Splatoon's a great game.
People can disagree, man. That's what we're here for. If you disagree with me, go down in the comments and leave a comment. And while you're there, like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. So we have two more left, so I'll just quickly go through this. Super Mario Strikers wasn't a huge soccer fan, but I always liked playing soccer games. I thought they were super fun. And then obviously the Mario component with the characters, I think it's pretty on par with the other sports games. I'd probably rate it a B.
Yeah, just throw it in B. I didn't play Strikers much, but from what I heard, people playing it, and it's just like, oh, whoa, it's a good game for people that like soccer games. I'm not a big FIFA player. I'm not even a big Madden player. Like, I really don't like sports games all that much. Back in the day, like 2K5, when you had Terrell Owens on it, like that game was dope. Like, that was a cool game. I played that on the Dreamcast with my buddy, and we would literally put a piece of cardboard in between so we couldn't see each other's stuff, close our eyes when we picked plays. So yeah, Paper Mario, I never played much Paper Mario.
Another RPG game.
Yeah, see, so there you go. Why? Why?
See, you're
And
gonna
I
put
know
why,
people are gonna
but
hate that.
this is probably the Mario RPG game I played the most. I think some of the games are pretty. I can't remember if it's the 64 one or is there one on GameCube that's like super highly rated. Um, I remember playing it when I was younger, and it was fun for what it was. So I'd probably put it in like C tier.
Okay,
But
I'll
you're a
go.
Y.
Yeah, I'm a Y again. I'm not. I'm not all for these RPG Mario games. Just never did it for me. Like I said, I stayed far away from them. I wanted mindless fun, and those weren't mindless fun for Mario. You had to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's
All
our
right. So
tier list.
yeah, recap the two highest rated ones we have are Super Mario Galaxy and then Super Mario Odyssey. And then obviously Super Mario Sunshine being the best one out of all of them. And then the A tier we have like Mario Kart in general, Mario 64 or Super Mario 64, and then Super Mario 64 DS.
Yeah, B, Mario Party, Super Mario 3, baseball, aces, golf. That's the land of the sports. And then everything else under there, special shout out to Dr. Mario because that game was dope. Was a big fan of it.
Yeah, it's just like looking at this list, if I were to say like something that maybe I could change, like I feel like Mario Wonder, like once I get to the point where I play it all the way through, I might feel a little higher, maybe like a B tier. But yeah, I think the rest of it's pretty fair.
Yeah, I feel good about it. I think we did the Mario games that we picked here justice.
And once again, like all these games are pretty good, and they're kind of
Yeah.
we're just ranking them in comparison to each other. So yeah.
All right, guys, thank you so much for this. We're gonna get off the tier list, and we are going to beer pong. Next segment. Let's go. All right, and tonight for our beer pong topic, we have Sun and Moon versus Sword and Shield. Which one are you going with, PoNGa?
I think I'll do the harder one, which is Sun and Moon. But
Okay.
I'll allow you to start.
Okay. So alt arts. That's all. I think that's all I really got to say for Sword and Shield. After the Sleepy Tea came out, I think it's going to be hard to beat. And I know that Sun and Moon has some pretty cool sets, um, but in terms of like staying power, I think with everything that's going on, everything that has gone on in the 2000s, the 2020s, with the Sword and Shield sets. The nostalgic that's going to come from those sets later on down the line. I think they're going to be remembered more than Sun and Moon, more than XY. I think that's just the big boon. Like you see the arts that came out for this set was insane. It came out during the biggest boom in Pokemon history. It brought so many people back into the hobby, including myself, came in around Vivid Voltage, which is a very common story for a lot of people. I don't know. I just think that's going to be hard to beat down the line. I know that the boxes aren't valued like some of the Sun and Moon boxes are valued right now. You got like tag teams and all that kind of stuff going on, that went through through a big boom period themselves over the past year and kind of have settled down. But I think the staying power of Sword and Shield in the long run will outweigh Sun and Moon. I think, regardless of what the games were, just cards themselves, I think they just outshine.
All right. Well, you started with something that's hilarious because that's like I feel like all these people say like, "Oh, Sword and Shield alt arts." Like, well, Sun and Moon also had alt
And
arts,
all
and
course, yes.
the alt arts were like tag team alt arts basically. And so, to me, like, I mean, I can't like this is like a back and forth, but like Sword and Shield's like amazing, right? Like this, but like the Sun and Moon
Thank you,
alt arts.
PoNGa. I appreciate it.
But like no, that's to say like the Sun and Moon alt arts feel like a little more special because there's not as many, I don't think. Um, and then like the other thing about it is I feel like the sets are like they almost have like a better identity to them. And I hate when people say like set identity and stuff like that, but it's just like I have a list of the sets just to remind myself, but like each set you go through just like has its own theme. Like Burning Shadows, like that's the fire Pokemon set with the Charizard, right? And like you could make that argument for the Sword and Shield sets a little bit, but I feel like there's more random Pokemon when it comes to those sets. And then the one thing I like about Sun and Moon is the special or holiday sets. I mean, Shining Legends is like one of my favorite sets of all time. I think the re-release of the Shining Pokemon are really cool. Obviously, I wish there were more of them, and I also wish like the Lugia and stuff and the Celebi weren't promos, but they're still like around and part of the set. And then I don't think it gets the same credit as it used to, but like Hidden Fates is in Sun and Moon, and to this day, I think it's still like, you can make the argument for Crown Zenith to be like the best special set, whatever, but like I think Hidden Fates, when it comes down to it's going to be like the standout set, like around like this time period, like one of the standout sets, I will say. I mean, it's just countless amounts of Kanto shiny Pokemon full arts, and what does everyone complain with the new sets that come out, the new shiny sets? Like, oh, they don't have as many full arts, or they don't have as many Kanto Pokemon, and so that really stands out to me. And then the tag team sets are just, all of them are great. I think like the one that was super underrated for a really long time was Unified Minds, and I mean that got reprinted in like 2020 or something like that, and I remember picking up a few boxes of that, and I'm really glad I did. But then like the iconic sets of like Cosmic Eclipse, Team Up did what it's done to this point. It's pretty insane. But yeah, to recap, it does have alt arts that, in my opinion, stand out a little more because there's less of them per set. I think tag teams are really cool, and I really hope they bring that back sometime in the future, not necessarily now. Give it some time. And then like the specialty sets for that era are just super iconic to me. And then the one thing I didn't mention either is like the character rare cards in Cosmic Eclipse kind of stand out a little more to me because there's just less of them, so they feel more special. I think Sword and Shield obviously has a lot of them, and there's a lot of really, really good arts and a lot of great cards, but it's just another character card, right? Or another trainer gallery card. While the Cosmic Eclipse one, like that Pikachu card, like it stands out, right? Like it just iconic. It really is.
Yeah. So see episode 1 for the amount of alt arts that Sword and Shield have. Was reading a comment from, I think it was Old Card Shop, saying that us not going through the entire list was triggering for him. So I did make a comment saying that we'll probably revisit the ones that we didn't rank and do like round 2 of that. Sword and Shield did have a lot. I think they kind of went, so now like I going to your like point now, I think they did overproduce alt arts, trainer gallery, Galarian gallery. There was a lot of art going on. And I think it's
artist gonna art.
Artist gonna art. We know how PoNGa hates artists, but that's okay. We won't touch on that subject right now. It kind of spoiled people, I think, too.
They don't appreciate what's coming out now because
they don't. And a lot, like, listen, I like the Scarlet and Violet set like era so far. Like a lot of the cards that are coming out are freaking cool looking. Like there's a lot of cool stuff. It's what I don't know like why. Yes, the pull rates are easier. That's another complaint. I think it gets hate for no reason, but we're not talking about Scarlet and Violet right now. So Sun and Moon, like I said, it did spoil people with the amount of art that did come out for it. There's so many cool artworks. I think Crown Zenith itself is mostly all arts. Like it's a great set. It's a great set. Like every card looks beautiful. Every card's a banger. Like I think one of my favorites from that is the Cricket Tune. It's just such a beautiful card for like what it's worth. It's not even expensive. Like you can get these cards for so cheap. Graded Intense. Like I sell them. I have some. You sell them for super cheap, but it's people want them. They're pretty. Like So to your point, I do like the Sword and Shield more though. Like I said, trying to fix the camera.
Yeah, the focus is off.
It's okay. Now we get to stare at PoNGa's palm.
It's not fixing it. Oh, maybe
That's
a little
okay.
bit.
It'll self-correct, or maybe it won't. Technical difficulties. We'll figure it all out. So yeah, that's our beer pong. I don't know. I definitely think Sword and Shield just has more stopping or more staying power later on. It's newer, so you're not going to have the prices that Tag Team came out with, like the prices that they just went through. But Evolving Skies is on the up and up. Chilling Reigns on the up and up. Fuse and Strike is doing stupid things right now for that set. But that kind of makes sense too. You got the Alt Art Celebi in there. Like we talked about these cards. Like some of those cards are super pretty. So yeah, it's just crazy how some of these prices are going up right now. And it's
the one thing I didn't mention. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. You go.
No, I was gonna say the one thing I didn't mention about Sun and Moon is like I feel like the full art trainers feel a little more special. For whatever reason, they just to me stand out a little more, and obviously like a lot of them do have like super high value to them, like the Lily and Ultra Prism and stuff like that. But yeah, something about those cards in Sun and Moon just feel a little more special.
Yeah, I think it might just be because they're older. You weren't inundated with it. There's so much Sword and Shield floating around. There's so much of it. And I think it's just PoNGa is really having a hard time here. Yeah, he fixed it. It was driving him nuts, everyone. We were about to stop and re-record after an hour and 60 minutes. That camera. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about it. That's beer pong, everyone. Any closing statements on it for Sun and Moon?
Both are fantastic eras of Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just both great.
Awesome. All right. Next topic. Rabbit holes.
Do you want to start?
Yeah, I'll start this week. So last week, PoNGa issued me a challenge for to look into like high class old Japanese set, not necessarily high class, but like the specialty sets in Japanese, and like what their counterparts were in English. So this week I decided to do two, because as much information as you think you'd find on this on YouTube and everything, there's not a crazy ton of like in-depth super like information that you can get into. Bulbapedia, if you guys don't use Bulbapedia, please use Bulbapedia. Lots of great information on there. I did browse a few YouTube videos just to see some more of the cards from the sets. But the first set we have is Evolutions. The Japanese version of it, it's the 20th anniversary concept pack Pokemon game. So CP. So that's something else I learned too. When PoNGa said CP6 last week for the rabbit hole, I was like, man, what was CP6? So I started looking into it. So it just means concept pack. It was the sixth subset for the XY break era of Pokemon cards in Japan. It's the evolution set in Japanese. So my mouse is not working right now. Here we go. It's got some freaking crazy awesome artworks in it. We got the Venusaur EX in it, the Mega Venusaur, Charizard EX, Mega Charizard. The cards are pretty. I watched a couple pack openings of it. Every card comes with a holo, or every pack comes with a holo. The video I watched, actually, dude ripped a Charizard, a Mewtwo, a bunch of cool stuff. It released on oh man, where is everything here? I'm having such a hard time right now. What's going on? I'm so sorry, everyone. All right, here we go. It released Japanese in Japan on September 16th, 2006. It was released in Korea on September 29th, 2016. Let's see. Yeah. I don't know.
It's just a cool set.
It's a cool set. It's essentially what it is. It's a cool set. It's not as cool as the set I'm about to talk about.
I think it's a better version of Evolutions. Like the hollows feel a little more special in CP6 than they do in Evolutions.
And they look better too. Like I said, there's really not much on it. It's based on Pokemon Red, Blue, and Green, featuring Generation 1. There's not a crazy amount of information on it that I could find. Like I said, and I looked pretty hard. So it just, the pack arts look way more pretty too. Like the Japanese pack art is on point. I really do enjoy the Japanese pack art compared to the English version. I see PoNGa shaking his head. Yes, it's just like everything about it feels more like special. Feels more high class. It is definitely a high class set. So, it has the break cards in it too. I'm a big fan of the break cards. On the English side, I like them. The Japanese side, I like them. I know not a lot of people like the break cards, but I'm a big fan of the break cards. The next set that I did dive into a little bit was the PoKéCune collection. Really, really like the artwork in this set. So I didn't know that this is where all these artworks came from. The full art Flareon is probably one of the prettiest cards that I've ever seen for an evolution. I really do love that card. I even love the just regular hollow Flareon version with the hearts. All the cards have super cool like hollow foiling. It has one of the more iconic like series cards where the Charmander goes to the Charmeleon to the Charizard. It's a pretty set. It's another subset of the Pokemon card game in the XY break era in Japan. It was released on January 29th, 2016. Each pack had 4 cards in it. They added charms to these cards. There was Ribbon, Heart, Clover, Droplet, Star, and Book. It had the 4 Pikachu card too, like the full art Pikachu, where it has the 4 Pikachus kind of like rolling around together. It was just another iconic set. Super beautiful pack art as well. Just another cool set to dig your teeth into. It did come and had a specialty box as well, which I saw open. So it's another great set.
Yeah, it's basically just the Japanese equivalent of Generations.
Yeah,
it's a pretty cool set. It's pretty insane the value of some of these older special Japanese sets at this point. Like CP6 and PoKéCune are both very expensive.
Yeah, well, I was looking at prices today. I think CP6 is like $2,500 for a booster box.
I don't know what they are anymore. I would imagine something insane. Like 2,000. I don't know. Yeah. Yep. All right. So my rabbit hole for this week that you challenged me with was the Ocarina of Time Master Quest. So it was perfect timing. I mentioned it before. I have an EverDrive 64 now, which basically allows you to put an SD card into a N64 cartridge and play all the games on one cartridge, which is very, very cool. So I've been going back and playing some old games, and Ocarina of Time is one of the ones that I was playing when you had challenged me with this. So
perfect.
I mean, it is like, if not the best, like one of the best Zelda games and one of the best games in general. I think like on some places it's like rated the #1 game of all time. And I will say, playing it today, it holds up. It's still just as fun as it was back in the day. Now the Master Quest part of it, so that's the interesting part. So just put it in short form, like Master Quest is just like a harder version of the game. So everything outside like the dungeons and stuff are all the same, but inside the dungeons, like the placement of like keys and all that kind of stuff are all in different places, and it makes it a little more hard. This version of the game, specifically the one that came out on GameCube, so Ocarina of Time came out N64, and then the director of Ocarina of Time was actually tasked with remaking this game, and he chose to not work on it and develop Majora's Mask instead, which came out similar time. And so some different people worked on the Master Quest version. And when you pre-ordered the Wind Waker game, you actually got a separate disc or separate case disc for pre-ordering that came with the Ocarina of Time Master Quest on it. So pretty cool backstory there as well. But yeah, it's I think a lot of these older Nintendo games, the better versions of them are probably the harder versions because a lot of them are a little easy. I mean, I see like Ocarina of Time. The only hard part is like running through the wrong door or something or going like the wrong way. But besides that, like the battle and all that kind of stuff's pretty easy. So it's good that there's a harder version out there. But yeah, it's a cool spin on things. A re-release that was just made a little more difficult. And yeah, I appreciate that. It's really cool. And I think like the promo disc or the pre-order bonus is pretty expensive now. And one of the more expensive GameCube games. So yeah, pretty cool.
And it wasn't just the Master Quest that was on that disc either. Yeah. It was the regular game and then the Master Quest. And I think the Master Quest, the dungeons are mirrored.
That's something I didn't mention. They are mirrored as well.
Yeah, they're mirrored. And like you said, things are in different areas. So it makes the already difficult Water Temple even more difficult. But yeah, it's just a different spin, and it keeps it fresh, and which is it's a pretty much like new game plus for you don't get to bring any of your stuff over, but like it's just a whole new adventure. That's the same.
Yeah, it's hard mode. It's playing out in hard mode.
Exactly it. So, all right. So my rabbit hole for you next week holds a very special part in my heart in video gaming. This was the first system I ever played any games on. It's the first time I played video games, and it is ColecoVision. Just delve into that a little bit. It's a very bizarre system, very short life. I played it in the 90s. It came out earlier than that. It's a very cool system. It had an awesome port to it that it was released with that you'll like to talk about. So yeah, just look into ColecoVision. Yeah,
it's one of those systems that I watch a lot of like reseller video game content now, and it always gets brought up, and I'm just not familiar with it. So I'm glad that that's one of the challenges I get to look into. So the rabbit hole I have for you is on it's in that Japanese field that I've challenged you with the last two ones, and I know in the past it's something you said you wanted to look into. So it is the vending series for Japan. Nice. So look into those a little bit, pick out some cards just like you have the past two times that you like, and yeah, we'll go from there.
Awesome. Yeah, I can already tell you I love that Mr. Mime, and I'm so happy it released in English.
So many of the arts are very good. I mean, there's a lot of good cards.
Yeah, that Mr. Mime is an S tier art for me. I know Mr. Mime is not one of the most well-loved Pokemon, but
I agree. It is S tier.
It's an S tier art. I enjoy the hell out of that art. So, all right. Thanks everyone for listening to Rabbit Holes. We're going to go on to our next segment now, and that is hot takes. We love a good hot take. So what hot takes do you have for us today?
Yeah, so I'm going to keep it at just one, and it's kind of on the same subject that we are doing with the tier list. So I have Banjo-Kazooie is a better 3D platformer than Super Mario 64.
Wolf.
Yeah, I don't. So I think it's a hot take, but I don't think it's like the craziest hot take. I think there's definitely people out there that agree with me. Super Mario 64 is a great game, and that's not, what I'm saying isn't taking anything away from it. It was probably seen as like the 3D platformer, especially like on N64, and kind of paved the way for the games to come after it. But something about Banjo-Kazooie is just super nostalgic to me. I love the Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie games. I just found it like a little more, I don't know what the right word for it, like charming, or like kind of, it felt different, right?
Okay.
And I think probably at the time, there's just like Mario was like the franchise. And so I feel like there was a lot more Mario type games with the characters, but Banjo-Kazooie is just phenomenal. And I don't know if I'll feel different, but it's on my short list of games to go replay on N64. So I'll eventually get to it.
Why?
Uh,
Don't
oh
hurt yourself.
no, stop.
Talked about that.
So I'm gonna go back and play it, and maybe my opinion will change. But just from like memory, I mean, I love Banjo Kazooie, and I think it's the better game when comparing the two.
All
And
right.
I'll also throw out there that Diddy Kong Racing is better than Mario Kart.
Whoa! What? PoNGa. Now I don't. This is supposed to be our Mario episode, and you're talking smack on the man himself. Diddy Kong Racing? That's a hot take, PoNGa.
I haven't played it that much, but I was playing it on the N64 recently, and it is just a lot of fun. Maybe it's so much fun because I'm not as familiar with it. That might be part of it, but
New
that was
stuff.
just a
Yeah.
side one. That was just a side one.
Would you say that Diddy Kong's a better game? Like, what was it, Donkey Kong Country? You think Donkey Kong Country's a better game than Kazooie and
So, are you saying like Donkey Kong 64?
yeah, 64? Yeah.
Now, the one thing I hate about that game is you have to have the expansion pack.
Okay. Oh yeah,
Those are still like $50 or something like that.
that's wild.
So I haven't been able to replay because I haven't gotten to buying that yet, and I couldn't find my expansion pack. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's better, but it's up there. I mean, Donkey Kong 60. I need to replay it and form my opinion, but I remember loving that game, and I just played it for countless hours. So it's probably a little bit below the two of them, but it's definitely
Okay.
up there. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Like for N64 games, it's probably like A tier or around there.
Yeah. I mean, like most are. It's the 64. All right. So I have one that I want to touch on, and then there's just another one I want to hit that has nothing to do with video games or Pokemon. But I was watching something the other day, and I really just dislike this character. But and it is a hot take. It's gonna make a lot of people sour. But the first one is the Van Gogh Pikachus will hit over 50K graded by year's end. I just talked to PK about this on the It's Beer O'Clock podcast. There's already 28,000 graded Van Gogh Pikachus. It's only March 18th. They keep releasing them. The number keeps jumping up every day. I think by the year's end, there'll be 50K Van Gogh Pikachus graded. I don't know how you feel about that. I don't know if even that's a really big hot take, but I feel like people don't realize how many of them are actually graded. Pop Report's an amazing tool just to see something like that. It's definitely going to surpass the Black Star Charizard promo from Champion's Path. For sure, it's going to pass that. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on that. I think it's a hot take.
I'm not a huge Pop Report guy, and the Van Gogh Pikachu, I just don't care about it anymore. I sold mine and
never looked back.
Part of the reason I took like a long break at the end of last year was because that's the only thing people talked about. Another hot take, Van Gogh Pikachu. But yeah, I mean, I think 50K is very. It probably is going to happen. Like
they're only 22,000 away from it.
Yeah, I don't think it's possible to not hit that number.
Okay. Yeah. I was going to say something like 75K, but I thought that might be pushing it a little bit. A lot of them are going to be graded.
75, especially like if the price keeps coming down on the graded copies, less people are probably going to send them. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to know exactly where it's going to end up because of how many have just been released and how many are circulating. So, I think 50K is probably a safe number for it to hit.
I was reading a Reddit post. I'm not even on Reddit anymore. I got off Reddit. There's too much trash on there. But every once in a while when I'm searching stuff, Reddit will pop up and I'll click on it. And like one of the things was, well, the Van Gogh Pikachu only has 1,700 graded at PSA. And that was in like the beginning of December or like like the middle of November, whatever it was. And like it's 28,000 now. So like just think of how many cards were sent. Like it's just insane to think about that number and like it just jumping from where it was to where it is now. My second hot take and I'm going to say this with the utmost fervor, is that Sirius Black from the Harry Potter series is a piece of human garbage. I really dislike his character. I don't resonate with him at all. He's a hypocrite. When I watch the shows, I actively can't wait for him to get deleted by Bellatrix Lestrange. It makes me very happy when she screams, "I killed Sirius Black." I scream it too because I don't like him. He messed with my boy Creature. No one messes with Creature. So that's my hot take on that. Just needed to throw it in there. Every once in a while, you'll get some Harry Potter stuff coming out of me on this channel, people. It's going to happen. So that's where we're at with that. So those are our hot takes for this week. Oh, yeah. We got PoNGa coming in hot. I love it. Let's talk some Potter.
No, so I saw like the first couple of Harry Potter movies when they came out, and then I didn't watch past that. And then not this last December, but maybe the December before that, my wife and I watched all the Harry Potter movies from start to finish in like a couple days, something like that.
Awesome.
And
everyone should do that.
I mean, I don't even remember anything about him, which probably tells me I didn't really enjoy his character.
Yeah, he sucks. Yeah. I just don't. Everyone reveres him too. Everyone loves Sirius Black, and I've seen through his veil. I just don't like him. He is a wolf in sheep's clothing. I hate him. So my wife hates that I hate him too. She absolutely hates it. My best friend hates when I talk about. I hate Sirius Black. I bring it up way too much. Just don't like the guy. All right, so we have a special
your personality hating him.
Hating him. Yeah, that's it. I just don't like him. We have a special segment today. Talked about it before the podcast. Figure we'd throw it in. We both enjoy sports. We both really enjoy the NFL. For those of you who don't know, the NFL free agency opened up. People are at different places. We are about to talk a little NFL free agency. I'm going to let you take it away. What do you think your biggest free agency wins, misses, devastating news that may have happened to someone in the past couple of days?
I'll get to that. So I'm a really big LA Rams fan. Been a Rams fan my whole life. Went through the part of the Rams franchise where they won 6 games in 3 years. Watched every game during that time. You know, when I was younger, they were the greatest show on turf, so it kind of got me into watching. It's a shame that Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce aren't as respected as they should be. But yeah, so the Rams themselves didn't do anything super flashy. They re-signed Dotson, which is they traded for him last year, offensive, not tackle, guard, and they're going to they signed Jackson, another lineman from Detroit, to play the other guard, which then they're shifting their starting guard last year to center, which is his natural position. So they basically formulated the strongest interior line in probably football, or if not, you know, top 2 or 3. So that was super exciting. Now, the devastating news that hit, I think, Friday was, in my opinion, the GOAT of defensive players. And if you don't agree with that, then you can't argue at least top 3 probably. You know, there's a few others that are up there with him, but Aaron Donald retiring. He always said he wanted to play 8 years, and we got 10. So, you know, some of us fans thought he was retiring after they won the Super Bowl, and it was rumored to be very close to happening. He stuck it out for 2 more years, one of them being an injured year last year, and then getting back to his first team All-Pro self this year. Yeah, just like I can't ever remember feeling this way when it comes to sports. It's just like it's tough. Like he's just like the rap. Like he's for a defensive player to be a face of a franchise, especially a franchise that has very good offensive talent and a franchise quarterback. And I'd argue Jared Goff was a franchise quarterback too, having multiple. And this guy was just always the Ram.
Beast, dude.
He's just the most unselfish guy. You never hear any trouble. You never hear him outspoken complaining to the media. He just leads by example, and it's something. It's funny because you go back and a lot of people have been posting like his, what people are saying about him around the draft, and he's too small. He's never going to make it. He's going to be pushed around. And then Adam Schefter reposted one of his tweets from 2014 right after he got drafted in training camp. And the text message from a Rams person basically just said Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Donald is unbelievable. Like, he's unreal or something like that. And it's just hilarious that now 10 years later, we're talking about him in the GOAT conversation.
He's one of the most
yeah,
physically imposing people I've ever seen in my life. Like, that man.
You see a picture of him with his shirt off.
It's terrifying, bro.
He is shredded, but somehow he's 285 pounds.
Yeah, it's not shredded. He is a brick shit house, the dude. He could play for another 10 years if he wanted to. Just like many other in their prime, Barry Sanders, like that's who they were comparing him to over the past week. Barry Sanders and him were like spoken in the same sentence a lot. Like, he had more in the tank, but he did everything he needed to do. 3 defensive players of the year, rookie defensive player of the year, 8-time all-pro defensive player, 10-time Pro Bowl.
The only 2 years he wasn't first team All-Pro was his rookie year, and then last year, which was the year he was injured.
Yeah, so like just crazy stats from someone in this league now, where you can't touch a quarterback without drawing a flag. Like you said, never heard any bad things off the field, on the field about the guy. So it sucks he's gone. Sorry for your loss in that, but it'll be better for.
Wait a second,
he
put up crazy numbers. Now, he does line up on the outside sometimes. He's probably lining up a defensive tackle, and he's putting up sack numbers and pressures that are insane. And that's while having the highest double and triple team rate in the NFL year after year.
Yeah.
So it's pretty
strong
insane.
Dude.
But let's get to other free agency stuff. So, the shifting with quarterbacks is pretty insane. You have like the big name Russell Wilson going to Pittsburgh, which is, I think, a great move for them. He played pretty good last year.
Justin Fields going to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, so being in Chicago or around Chicago, that's big news. It makes the NFL draft more clarity, and then obviously on that same thing with the Bears trading for Keenan Allen. I think it's the best fit. Probably he is the exact opposite of what DJ Moore is. He is like, Keenan Allen's like a quarterback's best friend, specifically like a young quarterback's best friend, where he's just going to be open.
And he had his best year in the past, I think, 4 seasons last year. He was a freaking beast. So good for him. I'm a big Keenan Allen truther. I think you can put him up in the conversation as one of the best receivers in the league when healthy and having a good QB throw to him. So, definitely interested in seeing how that all shakes out. I definitely would expect the Bears to make some move. Did they keep their first round? They kept their first pick, right?
They have the number 1 pick. Then number 9 pick, too.
It's crazy.
Pretty insane. And now with the number 9 pick, they don't have to draft a receiver, which was always what people thought they were going to do. So they could probably just pick the best player available.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think the Steelers won that. You got a first round draft pick who's going to play behind Russell Wilson for 4 games until they bench him and put him into the freaking thing. You got him for a 6th round pick.
I don't think so. Russell Wilson's still pretty good. I think he gets a bad rap, but we'll see. We'll see.
He gets a bad rap because apparently he's kind of a douche. That's why he gets a bad rap. Like, people don't like playing with him. Marshawn Lynch hates him. If Marshawn Lynch hates you, you're doing something wrong. A man eats Skittles and bowls people over. Like, what's up?
Yeah.
So I don't know. My biggest NFL free agency kick in the pants was Saquon Barkley going full Benedict Arnold, and now he plays for the Eagles. I don't even know what to say to it. It's so upsetting. I'm so very upset with the Giants offseason so far. They signed Drew freaking Lock. Now, we've talked about this. They signed Drew Lock. They get rid of Saquon Barkley. They signed Singletary. Like, I feel like we're just downgrading.
Darren Waller
it's going to retire. Yeah, everything is falling apart for the Giants. They signed the one, I think, guard, which was good. I can't even remember. Runyon Jr. from the Packers. They signed him. I think he was one of the better pass blockers in the league over the past couple of years. He just had a bad season last season. But the Giants, I think, all in all, shit the bed. They got Baker, but their defense wasn't the problem.
Forgetting about the biggest move.
What's the biggest move?
They traded for Brian Burns and then signed him to a massive extension.
Oh, Burns, not Baker. Burns. I'm sorry, Burns.
Yeah. Which, in my opinion, they might have like the best defensive line in football, or one of them now. So
yeah, but that wasn't their problem. Their problem wasn't the defense. The problem was their horrible offensive line and not being able to run any kind of play.
I think their offensive line is going to be better, but
I don't know. Neil really put a sour taste in my mouth last year with his, the line doesn't concern himself with the bleeding of sheep, but like, dude played like trash. He was blocking air most of the time. So I don't know. As a Giants fan, I mean, there is literally a piece of tape where he is in his kick stance, pass blocking air, and there's just dudes running around him all over the place. So it's just, I don't know. As a Giants fan, I'm very sad, very upset about what happened this offseason for us.
That's the other interesting thing about free agency is all the running backs changing teams, like Saquon was dead, which in my opinion now, Saquon going to the Eagles kind of it ruins him for fantasy because like Hurts gets so many rushing touchdowns that like I don't know that I really want Saquon now. Mixon switched teams, Jacobs, like to your point, Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry going to the Ravens, which, by the way, if there's ever been a better fit for a player on a team ever, like, please let me know, because that's like Derrick Henry is meant to be a Raven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, just give him the ball and let him, because they get down red zone all the time. So just let the man run over people. He's he's another scary man that I wouldn't want running at me on a football field. Like, he's terrifying.
Absolutely not. Yeah. Not.
So those are some free agency little tidbits that we had from the past week. Again, Saquon Barkley is a traitor. And that's where I'll leave that. And, and the last segment tonight is the one that we always end with, everyone. And that is, who's that Pokemon? I'm gonna pull this
so
up
I think last episode we added Gen 3 on top of 1 and 2. I think for this week we're going to keep it at that. I mentioned at the beginning we've had a lot of like outside of Pokemon things going on, so my brain power isn't really there. So it's probably going to be a struggle, but I think after this we'll probably start adding things like Gen 4 and stuff, getting a little more difficult week by week.
You want to start this off?
No,
I'll start off.
This is yours.
It's Sky Marie.
I think so.
Hold on. I'm on the wrong. Yeah. Or Skarmory. I don't know. I'm terrible with names.
Graveler.
Oh, snap. Oh, this Persian. Okay. Working out.
Pikachu. Wobbuffet.
Oh, Pineco. We had that one last week. I had that one last week.
Oh.
Stump him.
Silicune or something like that, right?
Wow, you're good.
Silcoon, yeah.
Oh.
Come on, this is
no. I know. Heracross. Heracross.
Oh, is it?
I can see the Pokemon in my mind, but I can't. I don't know.
Is it Volbeat? Volbeat?
Yeah, you're good. Oh, Dotrio.
All right, we'll do one more each. Gardevoir. Yes, got an easy one to end.
Oh my god. I have no freaking idea what this thing is. I have no clue. Do you know what it is?
Anorith.
There you go. To be honest, that might be the first time I've ever seen that Pokemon. I'm not even.
It's a.
What the hell is that?
Yeah, it's a super common catch in Pokemon Go, so that's probably why I know it.
Okay. Right on. All right, everyone. Well, that was our little terrible Who's That Pokemon. I'm awful at this game. And next week when we add Gen 4, I'll be even worse.
Yeah, it's gonna get very hard.
It's gonna get very hard. I'm gonna have to start cheating and looking at stuff. When we did the name the 150 Pokemon for Dan's breast cancer awareness, I think I got the least amount out of everyone that did it. Someone had to be last, and it was me, and it was very embarrassing. Like I was like,
It's
"Oh my
hard
god!"
being put on the spot. It's hard being put on the spot, especially.
I was using my phone too, like a schmuck. Like it wasn't working. Like this is not good for me. I'm trying to type. My kid's talking to me. My wife's talking to me. I was like, I'm gonna do this real fast. No, I messed up. I got 66 right out of 150. You know, that's sad. That is sad.
Yeah,
sad.
That's pretty sad.
I think Walrus or Dan was like, well, someone had to come in last. And it was,
yeah, that's true.
It was Beerski. Yep.
Yeah.
But I just want to thank everyone for watching episode 3. Thank you for being here. Everyone that has watched your premiere, thank you. I love doing this as a premiere. I like getting in and chatting with everyone. I hope that the 1 o'clock time releasing this works for everyone. If it doesn't, anyone has any suggestions for anything we do here, please let us know. We're open to them. Please hit the like, subscribe, notifications if you can. We really appreciate it. Get us pushed out to a few more people. Definitely want to hit that 100 subs this week. So if you could do that, we'd really appreciate it.
Yeah, you said it all. See you guys on the next episode.
Peace. Everyone have a good night. See you soon.